Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're listening to Everything with Millennials, the podcast, of course, where two millennials talk about whatever they want. I'm Anthony Element, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mick Martin. How's it going, Mick? Doing the accents and stuff. Any way that people can get our money this week?
If you want to send some money to us, buy yourself like a stack of business cards and stick some bills in the middle, and then hand them out to people. And if one day I steal your stack of business cards, then I'll have the money.
You know a better way? People just go buy the merch.
The only way.
At the store, you can find that at everythingwithmillennials.com. Shameless plug.
Huh.
Oh, by the way, I just noticed you're wearing...
I suppose they could try that. I don't know. Maybe they could just put some money in some random jeans. I'm kind of fat, so that's enough info. And then if I buy those jeans, kind of fat jeans, then there's money inside the pockets, I will have won.
We don't sell jeans, but we sell some cool shirts like the one you're wearing. I just noticed that. I noticed that earlier. Nice
Says
shirt.
Everything on it.
So today we're going to be talking about lying, kind of like the psychology of lying, why people lie. Just kind of get into that. I'm a bit of a psychology nerd. I just kind of like knowing how things work. Well, I'm an engineering nerd. I like to know how things work.
Psychology is interesting, right? Even just if you study it as like a philosophy, or like try to understand it as just a way of thinking about human interaction or something.
Yeah. I like to know how things work, but I also like to know how people work, and that's the even more complicated thing. So we'll get into that in a bit. But actually, I want to start out today talking about what you saw last night. So you finally went and saw Shang Chi.
I did indeed go last night to see Shang Chi.
All right, so hit me with it. What did you think?
I thought it was dynamite. I thought it was an excellent, solid, good entry in the Marvel library of films.
Oh yeah. I thought it was sick too. It's one of those movies where you like walk out of the movie and you're like, I hope someone tried to kick my ass. Go. It's like one of those kind of movies.
Yeah, it totally was. We're going to start spoiling it a bit now.
So spoilers, jump over this.
Then just go to your fridge and make yourself an enormous sandwich. Okay, the rings. He turned his... So the Mandarin's supposed to have rings on his fingers, right?
But
instead he uses...
He had rings, like bracelets.
10 rings, bracelets.
It's the Legend of the 10 Bracelets.
The Legend of the 10 Bracelets.
No, you know why they did that? They wanted something different than we just came off like Endgame, right? In Infinity War, and he had basically on the glove, he basically looked like rings. So Marvel wanted to pivot and have something different, like it would have just looked like the Infinity Gauntlet again if he had 10 like rings.
That's right. Yeah, and
so that's kind of
they did a great job with it.
Yeah.
I think it's better this way. I honestly do. I prefer it to the rings that Mandarin had in the comics. Yeah. I think this is cooler. I think it's just a neater way to present that. And they knocked it out of the park. They made it look cool, So
it was super dope.
The bracelets were kind of like armor on him or whatever. I don't know. Like they kind of look good, man. Whatever. They made me want to wear bracelets, like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So my favorite part of the movie is they did what I was hoping they would do, and they did it so well. They paid off All Hail the King with like Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley. Yeah. He showed up. I was like, yes, in the theater. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the Mandarin, it's very interesting. Like the Mandarin's backstory, they messed with it. Fans were pissed off with it, but critics loved it, right? Critics loved Iron Man 3. Yeah. The fans were sort of lukewarm to it.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I thought that was hilarious.
You love all the Iron Man movies. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Iron Man's my favorite. So like that was awesome. Yeah. My only like thing is because in the comics, Iron Man and Mandarin are like direct enemies, right? And we never got to see any of that. Really.
Yeah, we never got to see them actually battle it out. We only got to see imposters. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we saw Iron Man in a lot of situations. We got a lot. Yeah.
We kind of got Demon in a Bottle a bit, but not to the full extent of what
in
it was in the
in
comics.
Iron Man 2 was
Yeah,
I
yeah,
loved it. I thought it was great. I loved when what's his name was walking down there with just his because he made him look crazy. Like he's like it's like one of these cars is gonna hit you. When Mickey Rourke is like walking around with his whips and stuff like that,
yeah.
I thought it was just really well directed. It all looked great. You know what I mean?
And then like the suitcase suit from like the cartoon. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That was
No.
cool. The suitcase suit.
Yeah. And then the fight with what's his name, Rhodey.
Yeah.
Um,
You want to be a hero?
yeah, yeah. Like, and they start playing that like I don't know, was it a Daft Punk song? It's like, meow.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a Daft Punk song. It was like a
Yeah,
mix
yeah, yeah, yeah.
from that DJ that actually died like slightly like afterwards.
Oh, really? Well,
DJ AM.
DJ AM,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Uh,
Well,
yeah. Back
R.I.P.
to Shang Chi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, Shang-Chi. Okay, so I think this movie shows how well superheroes can fit into almost any genre of film. I don't
Yeah.
know if you want to call superhero films a genre on their own. I mean, I guess they are, but they also seem to slot in extreme like because it felt a little bit like a Jet Li movie, right? With
Yeah. Yeah.
superpowers, with like a different
Well,
kind of gimmick than a
Shang Chi
sword.
basically was Marvel's Bruce Lee. That's what the character was kind of created like because it was
Hmm.
super popular back when Bruce Lee. So then they go, oh, we gotta make our own. So they made Shang-Chi. Well, actually, it's Shang-Chi. That's the correct. I always say Shang-Chi, but it's actually Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah,
Oh, and
okay.
that was hilarious that his name was Sean. I love all the
Yeah,
comedic
yeah.
bits. He's like, it's like your name was Shang, and you just changed it to Sean. So of course
Yeah,
he
that stuff
found
is
you.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Aquafina. She's hilarious. You ever seen her before?
No, I never
She's
seen
in
her
like
before.
Crazy Rich Asians, and she actually has her own show called Nora from Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
She's hilarious. I love her.
Cool, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't
And
know
then
her.
that guy, he's actually from Toronto, right? He's from Kim's Convenience. This
Oh,
his name's Simu Liu.
Samuel Yu?
Simu Liu, right? That's his name.
Simu
And here's a funny thing. I don't know if you know this, but
Liu.
before he did Kim's Convenience, he was kind of like one of those kind of like actor models, kind of just coming up doing whatever. So for
I
like
see.
$100, he did a whole bunch of stock photos. And if you go on the internet and you like kind of look at this, you'll see that he was in tons of different like stock photos. So like the most famous one of him is like him as a businessman pointing. Actually, let me see if I can find this one here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Stock photos. If you type in his name, one of the first things that comes up is stock photos. So I'll show you this here. Let's go here. Oop. So here, like this is like a stock photo of him, and you actually see this like in a lot of places. He's
Oh,
like,
I've seen it. Yeah, that he's
exactly.
Shang.
Yeah, yeah, that's him. It's from like whatever before he was famous. He did these like pictures for like $100. There's a whole bunch of them. See, like there's one him as like a construction worker, like, and you'll see them on like posters
That's
everywhere.
hilarious. Well, maybe he
Yeah.
is. Did he take a trade? Does he have like?
No, no, no. This is just he did like modeling, right? And so for
Are
like
you
a couple
sure?
$100. Yeah.
Sure, he's not a
So,
carpenter.
there's a ton of stock photos with him. There's one of him like doing yo.
He's
This
audio
one is
carpenter.
good.
Oh, that's funny. He looks like a crash test dummy.
It's so funny though.
Looks
It's like
bizarre there.
and,
Yeah.
and and it's funny. You'll still see these
Sure.
in places. Like you'll see him as stock photos. There's actually on the KFC website, I think it is. If you go to apply for a job, you'll see him in that too. So he's this has kind of been going around the
So he's like low key the most famous guy in Marvel Studios. Eh?
exactly like he's just
Yeah.
everywhere, and it's funny because I've seen a ton of these pictures being used all over the internet. So, but the internet's going crazy, especially on TikTok. People are like, "Oh, I've seen Similio before," and you can see it's like, "Oh, he just." I just find it so funny. He's getting actually he's an awesome actor and he's great, and so he's getting the recognition he deserves now. So, shout out to him.
Yeah, I mean, well, I haven't
So
seen
good
him
for him, man. Good
that
for
I
him.
know of in other stuff, but in this he was great. Yeah,
Yeah, he's great.
solid leading man.
Good cast too, man. It was Similiu, Aquafina. Forgot his dad's name. He's like a known
Action
Asian
star.
actor as well.
Yeah, yeah,
He was awesome.
yeah, yeah. No, I thought a lot of them were great. I mean, they had the woman from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think she might have
Yeah.
also been in Hero. or a couple of other Jet Li movies. It really felt like, kind of like a Jet Li movie. It was awesome. Like it
Yeah,
was,
the fights were
um,
so sick.
yeah, yeah.
And then that scene at the end, like because I went to see it in 4DX. Could you imagine what that was like? That was nuts
I betcha.
when they're
Oh,
fighting like that
great. I
huge
wanted to see it in
thing.
4DX, but I couldn't
Oh
make the
man, we're
timing work.
shaking and wind and like lightning is like almost got like thrown out of the chair. Sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
You know what
awesome.
I was kind of waiting for? I hoping they would do Fing Fang Foom.
Yeah, Fing Fang Foom is pretty. Well, was that
No, that was something else.
the dragon? Was
No,
not Fing Fang
that was
Foom?
like from the darkness other universe or whatever. But
No, no,
that's
no, no, no. The good guy dragon.
no, that's something else. That was the protector. So that wasn't Fing Fang Foom because Fing Fang Foom is most associated with like the Mandarin, but he's like a bad dude. So maybe
It's a dragon, isn't it? Fing
something
Fang
for the
Foom is a
sequel.
dragon. No,
Yeah. They're all they're all dragons.
Mandarin. Mandarin isn't a dragon.
Mandarin's not a dragon. Mandarin's a dude.
Fing Fang Foom. Man, Fing Fang Foom look. Oh, Fing Fang Foom
Yeah,
looked like
he's a
the
dragon.
thing with Wong. Look at him. Pull him up. That guy that was hanging out with Wong looks kind of like Fing Fang Foom is being drawn.
Fing Fang.
Oh, I thought it was great that Wong was in it. Although I would have liked to see him fight in the final battle a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Wong. Oh, so that was great. That's okay. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. Like the friggin' the fight between Abomination and Wong. So it seems like they're buddies. Do you see it? It's like
was that Abomination? Was that supposed to be
yeah,
Abomination
that
for
was
sure?
Abomination. So like
Okay.
Abomination is now more Abomination looking, more
Yeah,
comic
he's got
because
like
he's got the things. Yeah.
yeah the
Yeah,
flippers
but
on his
yeah, they
ears. Yeah.
fought right, but like at the end there, they're like trying to just chilling in the locker
Wong
room.
seems to have domesticated the poor
Yeah,
beast.
so who knows where that's going, right? Like, is now he's like kind of like chill because he was in the raft, right? Now he's like, yeah, domesticated, like you said. But what's he doing now? Like, what's he been doing since Hulk? It's been like 10 years, right?
I don't know what he's been doing.
Lots to speculate on there. Like, he could go into this again. Leads to my like Dark Avengers kind of theory where Elaine is gonna come and recruit these people and make her own Avengers team.
Elaine. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the evil Avengers. Yeah, I hope she
yeah.
does. Yeah, the Thunderbolts, man. That's what the
Yeah,
Thunderbolts are.
Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers, like either way, it could go either way, right?
No,
Like
you
like
can't.
Red Hulk
Shut up.
could be the villain, right? And
Yeah,
then
no,
you
but I want it to be Thunderbolts. I don't want it to be Dark Avengers. Pooh.
I could go either way on that one.
No, stop it. Stop going either way. There's only one way on this.
You know what was really awesome in Shang-Chi?
Thunderbolts.
I love that in Shang-Chi's superhero costume, part of his costume was Jordans. He wore Jordan sneakers as part of
Really?
his super. Yeah,
Wow. I suppose that you know what I mean. I don't know how many people make shoes in China, but is it one of the top employers there? Maybe I
Nike.
really have no idea. Yeah, but you know, it seems like they probably employ a lot of people in China, don't
I only
they?
know they're Jordans because in that scene where he goes to
No, doesn't Jordan make his own shoes now? He doesn't. He's not with Nike, is he?
no, they're Nikes. Nike produces Jordans.
Are you
It's like a
sure?
sub. It's a sub brand.
I
If
know
you
it was originally, but I thought that
it is now
changed.
still.
Oh,
Yeah, the Nike logo is still on all Jordans.
okay.
But I only know they're Jordans because when he went to go pick up Aquafina, they had a close up of him taking off his shoes. Remember, as he goes into the house,
Hmm.
and you could clearly see they're Jordans. And then later on, when you see him, he's got his full on red like armor stuff. He's
Yeah.
got the. I noticed that he like kicked the guy in the face. I'm like, he's still wearing Jordans. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny
Pretty.
superhero
Yeah.
costume. Full
Yeah.
on, you got dragon scales and stuff, but then you wear Jordans. But that's
I've
awesome.
never,
I love that.
I've never worn Jordans before.
Oh, they're so good. They're so comfy. Almost as comfy as like NMDs or Air Max 90s. Probably in the same vein as Air Max 90s.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're super comfy.
Well, cool, man. I don't know. Maybe I'll get some. Is Nike pays their people more than they used to, right?
I don't know.
think.
Maybe, probably.
Anyway, the world is hard. So what else happened in Shang-Chi? Okay, yeah. So there was two little plot holes that I thought were kind of funny.
Okay.
Number one was that when that dragon came out of the ground, it's like, dude, if you had just led with the dragon, he could have bit what's his name, Mandarin's face right off as soon as he arrived. You know what I mean? Like they get there through that forest and they walk out and they're all holding the sticks at him, you know, and it's like
Hmm.
like just have the dragon bite them. Like the dragon's
Yeah.
there. It's just right over there in the lake. So just bring the dragon and bite them with the dragon, you know,
Yeah.
and then you never do. Like, why fight the Mandarin without the dragon? It does, you know, I don't get
Well,
it.
yeah, it's like, why don't you just lead with that?
Yeah, lead with the dragon, but I get it. It's dramatic. You gotta kind of have a fun movie, right?
You know
Like
what's funny?
you gotta be in it for the
I don't
ride.
know if you picked this up, but to me, Mandarin wasn't as evil. Like he wasn't a super bad guy, you know?
Yeah, no,
He
he
was more
was
like,
kind
I'm
of
just trying to save
sympathetic.
my wife and
Well,
stuff
he
like he
was
did lots of bad things. He totally killed people, but like he didn't come off as like super evil like villain guy.
well, yeah, they made him a little bit sympathetic with the music and stuff that was around him,
And then
and
yeah, he
like
sacrificed himself at the end.
yeah, well, you know, they made him look like kind of a pathetic dude who
It's
just
like a
couldn't get
classic,
over a horrible loss, and
yeah. That's a classic Raimi Spider-Man villain type stuff, you know? It's like every villain in the Raimi Spider-Man movies was actually like they kind of repented by the end, if you think about it.
did Tobey Maguire repent? I mean,
What?
not
He's not
Tobey
the bad guy.
Maguire, sorry. Um,
Like Green Goblin did,
no,
Sandman
Venom.
did, Venom. He
I
died.
don't think
Oh
he
no, he
did.
just died. Even like a
Topher
Doctor
Grace. I don't
Octopus.
think Topher Grace repented. He was like, I like being bad. And he's all bad.
We are Venom.
We are Venom.
And so, what was the second plot hole thing you're talking about there?
Well, um, yeah, like what? Didn't they say that there was a Bangkok sanctuary?
Bangkok? I don't.
Yeah, I remember because they remember in the Doctor Strange universe when they showed like the different sanctuaries. So there's a New York
Oh
sanctuary
yeah.
and there's one. It wasn't one in Bangkok. Am I?
I don't know. They only ever really showed us. Well, they did show us in the Doctor Strange movie a few of them, but we only really focus on the New York one.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering. I feel like you know in a lot of these movies, I get why the other superheroes can't be in them for dramatic reasons, like for the reasons of the story and stuff.
Money.
But right, that too. But also the story wouldn't work if you just loaded it with a bunch of Avengers, right? This is
Yeah.
supposed to be Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Every movie,
Um,
just Captain Marvel just comes in and destroys everyone, blows their heads off.
yeah, it's just like
That's why
the
they
end of the
keep her in
movie.
space. She is too OP.
You live vicariously through me, nerds.
We'll talk
Um,
about her in a bit. I want to talk about what if, but let's continue Shang Chi.
yeah. So, Shang-Chi. Yeah, I just felt like Wong could have been in it a little bit more. Somebody, maybe, you know, somebody among the magical community on Earth
Yeah. Well,
probably should have been aware of what was going on. And they kind of were at the end, right? But like during the actual fight scene, I would have liked to see just like Wong shows up. He's like, what the heck is going on here?
yeah,
Like,
he just starts like cutting dragons' heads off with his portals.
yeah, yeah.
That would have been
I just
crazy.
think that would have been great. Like everybody loves Wong.
Yeah.
You kind of, but I get why they didn't because you can't take away from Shang's moment, right? So,
Yeah.
they
Wong's
made up for it later. But I
yeah.
love Wong.
Speaking of Wong, he's getting his like cameos in, man. He's like in all the kind of movies now. He's popping up everywhere. He's even in the Spider-Man trailer.
Man,
He's probably gonna
I
be in
would I
Spider-Man.
would watch like a
Wong
Wong
movie.
movie, yeah, or like a Wong team up with like if it was like him and Scarlet Witch or like Wong and Vision or Wong and Loki or Wong and
That would be the
you know
next
what I mean?
buddy,
Like
the buddy
yeah,
movie.
like a buddy movie, yeah, with Wong, I think would be pretty
It should
cool
be
because I think he
Wong and
plays
someone
off.
else that's of his level. You know, that would be
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Who would be the
or
equivalent?
maybe Wong and Spider-Man could even be fun. Like I'm
No,
looking forward to
Spider-Man's
that
too
Spider-Man
higher up
movie.
there. You gotta have like Wong and like Darcy or something.
No. What's Darcy? I mean, I
No,
love
somebody.
Darcy.
You know, someone who's like the sidekick level that has like
Oh,
powers. I guess.
Wong and the Winter Soldier.
You got kind of got like Anthony Mackie, Falcon, and
Anthony
he.
Mackie's
I think
Cap
he's too
now.
high.
Yeah,
Those.
Anthony Mackie's Captain America now. So
Yeah.
you could have Winter Soldier, Cap, and Wong in a movie. I think that'd be cool. Or just like
Wong and Shuri.
Wong and Hulk, man. Wong and Hulk would be fun, right? Because if Wong's chilling with Abomination, then
Abomination, yeah.
there got to be some stuff going on with Hulk.
Yeah.
And, oh, frig, it was Banner. It wasn't.
Oh, yes.
It
So the
wasn't Smart
end,
Hulk.
the post-credit scene.
Jesus.
Yeah, that got me because he showed up, right?
Professor Hulk, where'd you go, bud?
Yeah, they were on their space FaceTime call, and it's not because last time we seen Hulk, he was Professor Hulk. Now he's regular Banner, but you notice he still has his sling on his arm.
He's Banner Hulk, man.
So
he
ain't
the Hulk
like
that
I don't
wanted.
know where this is in the timeline, but he's still injured and he's still like got the sling, right? So what's up with that?
What sling? What? Yeah. When did
Remember?
he get that sling-based
Because
injury?
he used he snapped everyone back, right? In Endgame.
Oh yeah.
And then for the whole movie he had a sling, and at the very end he still had it, and he was still Professor Hulk. Because remember when Chris Evans went back in time and he was standing there with the thing. So then so he had it for much of the end of Endgame, and then so now he's back, but he's Banner and he still has a sling. So that's crazy how much power. You know, I was just thinking. There's a million other people that could have been way better with the glove at the end instead of Tony Stark. Like, for example, Black Panther. He has that Wakandan tech that absorbs energy. That could probably took the energy from the thing. It's like you had Captain Marvel. She could have taken the hit. Like, Hulk could probably use his other arm. Like there's anybody else could have used the damn thing except for Tony Stark.
Yeah, but he looked him in the face and he was just this ends now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I'm not giving this guy another second to make
Thor. That would have been good because that would have brought it back around.
Him a little bit.
Yeah, because like go for the head and all that. So there's a million people that could have, but yeah.
Or they could have honestly just fought it out because they were winning. Like if they had continued to fight it out with Thanos, like Captain Marvel had taken out basically their whole fleet from the sky, right? Woo! Right,
but basically, ships. Doctor Strange hinted to Iron Man that that's how it had to go. That's the only one way out of millions.
Because anybody else trying to snap it or whatever, right?
Even though that would have made more sense.
Even though it would have made more sense to give that a try, maybe they'll do a what if episode like covering what if somebody else tried to snap. And you try to put the glove, like he's like, all right, I got all the stones. Come on down, Captain Marvel. Meanwhile, Thanos intercepts her, maybe punches her out of the way or something like that, grabs the thing himself. You know what I mean? It's just like you're in the moment. You've got them together. This is your chance. Like swing for the fences, you know?
And then let's Sorry.
Yeah?
No, I was just going to say.
No, go.
Because we were talking about what if now. So let's just transition over to what if. I don't think we've actually talked about what if a lot on the show.
What if we did?
Are you up to date on What If? Did you watch last week's on Wednesday?
Yeah, I did. I did watch.
Party Boy
was my
Thor.
favorite episode.
Party Boy Thor.
Party Thor is probably my favorite Marvel thing, period.
That one was kind of weird, but it was like a more light.
Absolutely loved it. It was awesome.
So it was
Frost Giants like doing limbo under like electrical tower things and like I don't know, man. They had the Ragnarok beast guy with his arm around the Statue of Liberty, like hitting on her. Yeah. Like, oh man, it was hilarious. They had it was just gag after gag. I thought they were all funny. Like,
yeah. No, we had to have a lighthearted.
Thor as just a drunken fool. Like, I think that's hilarious.
I think we needed that episode after the last couple ending, like kind of like dark.
Yeah. The ending to this one was dark too, but it was an ending that could have been.
It was like a post-credit
episode.
Yeah. Like, but the whole
just
episode
because
itself.
They need to show that, like, what's his name didn't screw everything up, Odin, right? Because it's like if Odin had just left him, everybody would just be partying. Is that what the universe would be?
No,
just like
you know what I took?
Party?
What I took from that episode was if Odin gave back Loki, then Loki would have just became a cool, chill dude, right? He wouldn't have been so uptight, right?
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's where like Loki got most of his like problems from, I guess.
Yeah, but in the end, they managed to save the universe. So whatever. Odin made the right choice in our universe and the wrong choice in that one, I guess. Although Party Universe, if Party Universe comes to an end, man, at least you got there. At least you made it to the party. You know what I mean?
So like out of all the episodes we've had so far, which like ones were your favorites? Like what
Party Thor?
Really, that one?
Party Thor is my entire top 10. And then after that, I guess the murder mystery one was pretty
Oh,
good.
that one was pretty good. So
Yeah.
for me, the zombies one was really good, and
Yeah.
the one where if T'Challa got abducted instead of Peter Quill, I thought
Yeah.
that one. I
That was
love that
funny.
one. I don't know why. I love that one so much. Like it was.
That, that was pretty awesome. Yeah. It
That
was
was like
really
the
funny.
second episode, and you saw that Thanos was a good guy and
Yeah. He's
like
like, before I
everything.
went straight. I'm like, went straight?
Oh, that
Get to go
I
straight after
yeah.
massacring half of a planet after planet, but I guess he did.
Yeah, that was the
So
first
it
one that
was
blew
really
me away
funny.
after, because like the first one didn't really impress me because it was just a rehash of Captain America, but the second one was awesome. So that one, and then
Hmm.
yeah, of course the zombies. That one was good too, with
The zombie one.
yeah, with Vision experimenting on people and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was neat.
Because I think with those two episodes, I could really see those
It was good and dark.
if they did it in live action. Like they really had the essence of Marvel in them. Like they had all the action and comedy and stuff. Like the Party Thor had like a lot of. I guess it was kind of like Ragnarok, right? Where it had, but I felt like more over the top than Ragnarok because it was so
Yeah.
like
It was so
party-ish.
goofy and funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so goofy.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I
Yeah.
did like those dark ones because those ones were like very interesting stories, like Doctor Strange going back to save whatever and becoming evil Doctor
And just
Strange.
and just going crazy trying to do it. And it's like it's funny because in our universe, he didn't even really care about it that much. He was like,
Well, we didn't. The thing is, we didn't get to see a lot of it. Like they had a relationship, but we didn't get to see a lot of it. So they
yeah,
fleshed it out
but
a bit
for
more.
him to ruin that relationship in our universe, all he had to do was mess up his hands. And she's like, I'll like, look, if all I had to do to date somebody like Rachel McAdams was mess my hands up, I would take a hammer and smash my fucking hands. Like, I mean, but for him, he's just like, oh no, I lost my hands. Fuck you, Rachel McAdams. Like, you're not good enough for me. Nah, nah. Like, buddy, you got a great shot at happiness here. And then so like when in the what if episode he's all about her, it's like, really? Before you weren't that you know, you weren't in that deep, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like he should maybe fall in love with Scarlet Witch. I think that would be I mean,
No,
I think so.
that's
I think
Vision's
so.
woman.
Yeah, that's what I think would be awesome if they scrapped over her. And she's all about Vision, but I don't know, man. Sexy doctor, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Never know. Never know.
So what about like the? So we have 2 episodes left in the season. So apparently there's a second season that's going to come in 2022. We got 2 more episodes left. My theory was that everything's going to come together, and the post credit scene in the last episode we saw, where we saw so it's like a Vision Ultron with all of the Infinity Stones. So I think, and then so the Watcher's like, what? Right? So I feel like he's on the verge, and the next episode he's going to interfere now. Because actually, if we've seen from the beginning of this series up till now, he gets closer and closer to like interfering. Like he was part of he was in space, then he was part of the clouds, and then he was like right behind Doctor Strange, and even interacting with him. And now he's like surprised that something's gonna happen. He's like, "What?" So I think in the next 2 episodes he's gonna interfere, and he's gonna assemble like a multiverse Avengers team. That's my
Uatu
theory.
is? Uatu
Yeah,
the Watcher?
yeah,
No.
yeah.
He's
He's gonna.
just watching. He's just no,
He's just
dude, he
watching.
just likes to watch.
No, man,
The
it's gonna
ultimate
come together.
cuck. He's the ultimate cuck in the universe. He just watches.
Yeah, it's coming, man. The last
Watches
two,
and, like,
but I don't know if they're gonna do it in the last two
plays with
episodes,
his toys.
or if it's gonna like lead into
He's
it into
watching
in the
all
second
the
season.
time. Yeah, well, no, he's not Santa. He doesn't like see you when you're sleeping, know when you're awake, and then like bring you presents. He's just the watcher. He just watches. He's not supposed to interfere. If he does interfere, I will say I am sorry.
Well, I called it
And
here.
on
I've been
the
calling
next
this one for weeks.
if you call it that the watcher interferes and he does interfere, I will buy you a pizza, a whole big pizza.
Oh yeah, pizza. Oh,
Yeah.
technically he has interfered already. He's like
And I'll buy myself a whole pizza, and I'll have to eat the whole thing right in front.
he had like a full on conversation with like Doctor Strange. Remember? And because
Yeah,
well,
he's
he was
like, even if because Doctor Strange got so powerful that he was like wrecking the whole universe, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
obviously he could talk to Uatu because Uatu's in that universe, right? And like Uatu's like, I was just trying to watch, and you fucked it all up, bud.
he's like, please, I need to help me, and he's like, pass, and then flies away. That's literally the conversation they had.
How about You shut your mouth.
He's
Just
like, nah.
fucking walked.
He's like, I'm gonna switch channels now and watch a different universe.
Yes.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
it has to connect, man. Like if they don't connect, that's gonna be the. Isn't that weird? They like if they left us on so many cliffhangers, right? Like we saw Star Lord's dad
I don't
come.
want them to connect. I like it the way it is. Stop
It's gonna
fucking with it.
connect. If it doesn't connect, I'll buy you a pizza.
Okay. Sweet.
It's a gentleman's pizza bet.
Gentleman's pizza bet indeed.
Yes. All right. So you want to get into this lying stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So today we're talking about lying. I don't know. I just had this idea last
I was
week
lying.
about like I always just think of things and like one thing I've been thinking about lately is like I know why people do what they do, but like why, to be more specific, why do people lie and like where did this come from? So I've been kind of doing some research on like lying and stuff like that, and I can't find really like the origin. Like when did the first? I typed into Google when was the first lie or the invention of lying? Or couldn't
You
find
can't
anything like
hide
that. But I did find. Or have you ever seen that movie with
your
Ricky
lying
Gervais, The
eyes.
Invention of Lying?
Yes.
That was a good movie. Did you like that one?
Yes.
You just one day all of a sudden like no one lies in this universe and everyone like tells the truth all the time no matter how brutal it is. I thought that
Yeah.
movie was hilarious and then
I
he
don't
goes
want
to
to have children that are chubby or whatever. I want to have kids that are,
yeah and
tall with
and I think
whatever features.
was the first thing he lied about was like he went into the bank and he told them he had more money than the computer said or whatever,
And they
and then
just didn't get it.
that's when it kind of clicked in his head that you can lie or whatever.
Yeah. But that was also a place full of people who made very few mistakes. I don't know.
No,
Um,
yeah, it's
yeah.
weird. But I did find so like you sent me this article here. So basically, why do kids lie and is it normal? So I read this one. This one's kind of interesting. So in this article,
Typically, children begin lying in the preschool years, little
yeah, they say when they're
bastards.
about three,
Between
4.
2 and 4 years of
Yeah,
age.
yeah, yeah. So it's weird because so this article says that lying in kids is actually kind of normal because it's a part of like they become more aware of themselves, and so lying is completely normal. I found it kind of interesting.
From a what?
It, and so like lying,
Before age 8, children frequently give themselves away when lying.
yeah. So when the kids lie when they're really young, it's kind of really obvious that they're lying. So there's this video here with this girl. It's like, did you eat the cake? And she clearly ate the cake, but it's all over her mouth. But so like when you're younger, lying, you're kind of not good at it when you're like
Yeah.
3, 4 years old, or whatever. But as you get older, you figure out how to lie better just because of experience or whatever. But yeah, I literally can't find the actual origin of lying. Do you have any theories?
Well, I think that um, what's his name? Joshua or Jokasha Bach. He's um, he's an AI scientist, and he likes to talk about some of these kinds of things, like the nature of consciousness and all that sort of stuff. And I think that we are all what we see in front of us every day, no matter what we're seeing, is actually just a simulation of what the universe around us looks like, right? I mean, there are molecules that you have to use high-powered telescopes and or microscopes to see. Um, so the world that you craft around you with your eyes is sort of not exactly the world as it is, right? It's sort of a layer of the world.
Are you saying it's the Matrix?
No, I'm not saying it's the Matrix. I'm just saying that we don't see atoms with our bare eyes, right? We don't see the space between molecules, but the space between molecules is there, and it can be seen with microscopes. So I'm just saying that our whole understanding of reality is tied up in a story of reality that our eyes and brain is telling itself, that isn't based on, we don't have all the facts. We can't sense all the things going on around us. We can only sense some of them. So I think that like our very nature is kind of false in a way, right? I mean,
So you're saying everything's a lie?
you know,
What's the point?
I
It
mean,
sounds so deep.
in a manner of speaking, yes, right? Everything is sort of a lie, like what we so therefore, it makes sense that we would have the ability to craft and alter stories about the world, right? Like
Yeah.
we the ability to lie, I think, is probably also tied up with the ability to guess,
To
right?
guess?
To guess, yeah, to take a guess, like
Well,
where
that's
why does something fall to the ground? Why does a stone fall on the ground? And the best guess they had centuries ago was, well, it's going back to its natural place. That was their guess.
but
As
you're it's like a hypothesis, right? You're not saying that that's what it is and not know what it is. Well, I guess that's more of a guessing and lying is kind of different because when you lie, you're telling someone that a truth that isn't the truth. But when you guess, you're saying this could be, right? Not that it is.
But you could be very, very wrong with your guess and very sure of it, right? So when people would
Yeah.
guess,
Oh, that's a good. Yeah.
when you like the Catholic Church guessed that the Earth was at the center of the universe, and Copernicus said, eat shit, boys. The Earth isn't even at the center of its own solar system, and you know, they were very much they crafted thousands of lies based on that guess. You know what I mean? Based on that false foundational premise. So
Yeah. I
it
guess.
I,
But it's. I guess it's like a deeper lie. It's like a lie you tell. It's kind of like if you tell a lie so much that you start to believe that lie, right?
yeah.
Or
Or you
yeah,
just like sometimes something that isn't true gets accepted as common wisdom.
yeah. That's just yeah.
Right?
Misconstrued becomes some misconstrued fact becomes
Yeah,
common knowledge.
people for a long time assumed that there was some like ethical difference, between people based on like where they were from. Like, oh, if you're from this place, you're going to be more ethical than if you're from that place. And it's
Yeah,
like
but that's just kind of like stereotypes and
that's it's got nothing.
misconstrued
Yeah,
information. But when I say lie,
like
I'm talking about like you tell somebody
wanton intentional lies.
exactly. So like,
Okay.
there's a few reasons I found that people lie. So like, sometimes you'll lie to protect somebody, right? You'll like don't want to hurt
Uh,
their feelings and stuff like that.
mhm.
You'll lie to for personal gain, right? So like you'll lie to get ahead, right? You're like, oh, you tell a girl, oh, I'm rich, and just so you can get with her or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, and then there's like little white lies that, or it kind of snowballs. You tell little lies, and you tell more lies because you've told one lie to keep covering up those other lies.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean that it's human endowment. We're endowed with the capacity for storytelling. And
yeah,
I think we're constantly tempted to tell stories.
yeah. And like
You know what I mean?
people will lie to themselves to make themselves feel better. Even and that's one of the weirdest ones because you're lying to yourself and you know it's not true, but you tell yourself this thing. It's so weird.
That's right. Well, the ancient Greeks had a term for that, actually. So they had beliefs and a-leafs. And
Belief, a leaf.
yeah, a-leafs. And your a-leafs were things that you knew weren't true, but you treated as true anyway. So, for example, that's how you could enjoy watching a play or
Ah,
experiencing drama. You treat the actor's plight as though it were a real problem, like as though, oh my God, Vin Diesel's actually going to drive a
yeah.
motor
Even though
vehicle
you know,
out of
but
a
you,
skyscraper. Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. So that those are your a-leaves, right? And that's how
yeah,
you a-leave things. Um, so some of this comes into our understand. Some of what we think of as lies or honesty or um, those kinds of things are limited by our language, our ability to, it's a bit like there. What about gray areas? You know what I mean? And words for gray areas, like gray areas, it's two words and it's kind of like vague. I don't know. maybe you know what? Fuck whatever I'm saying. Never
So
mind.
a leaf is like something that you know is not true, but you believe it just to have fun. Is that kind of what a leaf is?
Well, no, not just to have
Because
fun, but
like because
also
like because when you watch a movie or to relate to what you're seeing, that kind of thing.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And then
that's
so
part of it. But
yeah.
also, you may know it's not true that your wife loves you, but you have to act as though it is true because you care about other people who are invested in your relationship. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Um, there, like it's that sort of vein of thoughts.
And then so belief is something you believe that's true, even if it's
Well,
not.
for the Greeks, a belief is just
Yeah.
something you really think is true. Like I believe the grass is green. I believe the sky is blue. I believe
But
Anthony Elliman is a fucking awesome dude. All that shit is fairly self-evident and true and real. You don't
yes.
have to fool yourself in order to believe any of that stuff. But in order to believe that the gods and deeply, deeply, truly believe, you have to have a-leaps. You have to have um, you have to be able to tell yourself that something you're not really seeing is actually there. So Zeus is not throwing thunderbolts, but he is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if any of this shit is making sense to you or not. It makes sense to me, but
You know what? It's coming at it at a different point of view, which I always like from you because I think of things certain ways and you think of things in
yeah,
other ways. So it's like a different spin of what I'm saying, and I like that.
yeah. And anything really, if you really want to learn about the nature of like your soul or your own like thoughts and being, like starting with the ancient Greeks is a great place to go. You really any ancient, because there's a like thousands of years of thought about these things that are available in books, you know what I mean, and you can really well distilled that you can delve into, and you'll be like, I think that if you were to read like Bulfinch's mythology, I have a book here, or like some books on ancient Greek myths, you would probably comprehend it better than I do, quicker than I did. You know what I mean? Like,
The Greeks sound like they got it on lock like a long time ago. Because
well,
you mentioned the Greeks a lot actually on the show for different topics, so it sounds like they just kind of got a good grasp on stuff.
well, like maybe they just have a good grasp on me. I mean, who knows, right? It's just the stuff that I know about it, I'm interested in, right? So.
Yeah.
Like if people who are interested in Carl Jung, for example, will bring him up all the time and say that he has an idea, about everything that we're talking about. And I'm sure that there is a Jungian and a Freudian explanation behind lying that I just don't know. Right? It would be
Yeah,
we
it's
should look
weird
into.
psychologically. So I got a kind of fun fact. Did you know when if you ask somebody something and they're like thinking to give you an answer, and if they're lying or coming up with a lie, they'll look to their right. So if you ask somebody something and go, "Hey," it's like, "Are you free on Thursday?" and they look to the right as they're thinking of the answer, that means they're lying. That's a psychological like kind of
Hmm.
tell. Try
It's
try.
yeah, it's almost comical though. It's like, so ask me a question like that. I'm not gonna be like, hey Mike, would you take your shirt off right now? Ask me that.
Hey, you want to take your shirt off right now? He just looked to his right.
All I had to do was look to my right, and that was pretty much an answer.
It's kind of a
Like,
psychological brain thing. So like when if you ask, there's actually a thing. If you ask people
the
certain
answer is
things,
yes.
it will
Holy
fire
shit!
up different parts of your brain, and your eyes will look in the direction. So if you're it, so it's not just lies. When you look to the right, it's like if you have to come up with something creative, you will more likely look to the right than in any other direction. I think it's for music. You look left. There's a whole bunch of different things. If you ask people, oh no, if you think of a time in your life, you'll look left. If you think of something that doesn't has never existed, but you have to create up in your mind, you'll look right.
Mm,
There's a whole bunch of different looks that you can tell. If you ask somebody something, you can tell what they're thinking, right? So if I said, hey, think of a time in your life when you were a kid that was your favorite verse, and or think of an animal that doesn't exist, and you can see which way they're looking, and you can tell what they're thinking of if they look left or right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just a weird psychological thing built into humans, so that like when you're creative, you'll look right, and when you're reminiscing, you'll look left. And
What
and there's a whole
happens when
bunch of
you
other
roll your eyes?
yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ones. I think up and down or something too, but I don't remember. Those are the two that I do remember. So that's how you can catch out a liar if if they look right when you're when you ask them a question, liars.
I mean, yeah, but once you know that, you can kind of hack it, right? It's like, oh,
Kind
Anthony
of,
told
but
me
if
don't look
you
to the right when you
you
so
would have to be consciously doing it all the time, right? Like, but
yeah.
I think it would look more obvious too, because it would be more obvious.
Well, do you remember that episode of um, Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry David would like look people in the eyes like this, like, "Are you telling me a lie?" Like, and
Yeah,
he's like looking
yeah.
deep.
And that's another thing too. Like if someone doesn't look you straight in the eye when you ask them a question, then it's most likely they're lying when they give you the response. Like if you ask me something, like I'm looking at you now, it's like if you ask me a question and I answer going like this or like looking somewhere
I
else when I
look
answer it.
away when I'm uncomfortable,
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, that's a thing
Or
too.
when I sense somebody else is feeling uncomfortable, because I actually like to look people in the eyes. I like
Hmm.
people's eyes. I think I just like them. I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
it is, but like they're like a window to your brain, right? They're directly. It's
yeah.
like they're directly connected by
Yeah,
a little
that's not like a
fucking cord.
direct thing, but like you can gauge that off of someone if they usually look in your eyes or whatever, right? Like, so there's some people that don't
Yeah,
look in your eyes when they're talking, but if they start looking in your eyes, then red flag. It's just little things, little tells that you can kind of tell
yeah,
people are lying sometimes.
yeah. It's true. It's true. I don't know. Some people just have great eyes, and it's like, whether you're lying or telling the truth, you can't stop looking at their eyes.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm not. I
I read this
don't.
other one here that you sent me. It's like actually, this is actually a lot of what we were talking about, the origins of lying and deception in everyday life. So this is kind of a lot of what we were talking about, like the awareness and intention, lying to other people to protect feelings of another. I could never find the damn origin. That's what I want to know.
I
I want
think you would have to look into the origin of fiction, of storytelling, right?
to.
Because storytelling and lying are pretty damn similar, right?
Yeah.
Like making up a story about something that just isn't true at all, like
Self deception.
no, 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 like a movie or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
you make up a story that isn't true at all, right? If we have the ability to do that for the purposes of drama, we obviously have the ability to do that for the purposes of um, whatever we want, right?
Hmm.
It's like our capacity to create and tell stories and do art probably also gives us the capacity to lie.
I
That's
guess
my
that's
guess.
yeah. That's one way of looking at it. I never thought of it like that. That
Mm,
they're kind of close, but I see them like as side by side, not like kind of overlapping. How you're kind of describing it.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
that's
you have,
a really good theory.
yeah. Well, I mean, you haven't had to think about this stuff because you're a very honest person.
Yeah.
Um,
See, okay, that's I
Whereas
guess
I am a
that's
dirty, lying son of a bitch.
well, like,
And
everyone has lied in
I'm just kidding.
a whole bunch in their life, like probably more than they would like to admit. But I would consider myself an honest guy. Like how I would love to live my life is just tell everyone exactly what I'm feeling and or what I'm thinking, and I would
Mhm.
also like that in return. But you don't get that a lot
I
in your
try to be
life.
diplomatic sometimes,
Yeah, I
and
try to be diplomatic, but also I want to give you the honest, for real truth. Like I don't want
yeah,
to. Maybe I'll sugarcoat it, but I want to tell you exactly what it is, And
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't give that in return or in general. Like the best example of this is like dating somebody. It's like there's a lot of not lying in the beginning, but a lot
Like
of
presenting and storytelling. Yeah.
exactly presenting and storytelling, or whatever. Just like you're saying, like because I've dated a lot, and like girls won't tell you exactly what's up. Like even if it's one way, they won't tell you. It's just the weirdest thing, and I guess that's something that kind of got me thinking about why people do what they do and lying and stuff. It's like relationships between people are
Yeah.
are very complicated, very more complicated than like a complex circuit in electronics, which I'm used to.
Well, yeah, we also have, much like a complex circuit, we also have human genetic limits. Like we have a genetic endowment, right? An ability. So there's like, I don't want to say slots, but it's almost like um, we have certain abilities to do certain things. You know what I mean? And we don't have the ability to do other things. Like we
But you
can't.
can like like a skill build these abilities into you, right?
Not all abilities, though, right? Like there's certain abilities that you cannot.
Like what?
Like you can't make yourself think like a dolphin. You know what I mean?
But you
Like
can think what would a dolphin think and have that kind of module and then tap into that when you need to for whatever application.
I mean, you could try to model a dolphin's
Yeah,
thoughts.
you can
Absolutely, yeah.
model. That's why I try to model people in my brain. It's weird. Like you can actually everyone probably does this in some way. They try to make a psychological profile for every person they meet, right? Like they do this unconsciously. I do this consciously.
I do it probably unconsciously, and it's definitely not
Everyone
a
does it
flattering
consciously, right? Like if
psychological
you think
profile
about
because
someone
I'm
that you hate, you have a
insecure.
profile of them in your brain, and you can say what they would tell you in a certain situation. Like if you ask them a certain question, like you know how you feel comfortable asking someone a question and someone else, it's because you've made a profile in your mind of them that you know that you want to ask them because they would make you feel more uncomfortable, right?
Yeah,
Versus
yeah.
someone who is yeah. So everyone does this unconsciously. They'll build psychological profiles,
Mhm.
whether they know they're doing it or not.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Well, but that makes sense. We're social creatures, right?
Yeah,
So the way that we communicate with one another and the way that we interact and um, sort of try to avoid conflict with one another is going to be advanced and complex, right? It has to
yeah,
be. Otherwise, we would probably just be bashing each other over every little thing, or we wouldn't be able to get together to get stuff done, like blowing up mountains and mining.
yeah. Do you think that there could be a world where every single person tells more, like I guess either the full truth all the time or more than right now? Like
I
I
think
feel
it's
like
very hard to tell the
yeah.
truth. I think, but it's
I
easy to
think
not lie.
what if you're diplomatic, right?
You
You'll
don't
always
always know what's true, but you can
no,
not
but like
lie.
what's
You can
true to
avoid
you, right?
lying.
Like if someone asks you, did you break
Yeah,
that glass or whatever, right? Like
and you
just
give
say
them an honest answer, which is
yeah.
like if you don't, if you don't know who broke the glass, you could be like, I guess it was somebody else.
I just I don't know.
I
I
don't
want to
know.
live in a world where people tell more truth, right? Like especially
Yeah.
in politics and all that. Like if
Well,
you like if you don't know, just say you don't know, right? Like that would be
yeah.
to me more like commendable than someone who's making up stuff out their butt.
Yeah, no, you're right. Obviously, the
That's
world
I
is
don't know.
better
You know
when
me
people are.
on the show, always the eternal optimist.
Yeah, no, the world works. It functions a
That's
lot
just
better when people are
yeah.
honest with each
That
other.
would just be the world I would love to live in,
Yeah, me too.
and that would make
So,
everything a million times easier as well, right?
yes, it would. It would make things. It would make things, I think, a lot less manipulative.
Yeah.
But we grow up in a society of total, like, you're expected to understand that you're being lied to constantly,
Oh yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
expected to have a good means of defending yourself against those lies. And
Is
if
that
you,
yeah? Is
you know
that
what I
why
mean?
more lies come out? Because people lie, so you have to lie. Like if someone goes, "Hey, do you want to go out with me?" and they give you a BS excuse, and they go, "No," but then you go, "Oh, that's cool," even though it wasn't cool. It's like
No,
they
no,
lied,
no,
they lied, you lied. It's like snowballing from that, and it's all
no.
just to save face for everybody. But that's kind of stupid to me.
No, no. What I meant more is just like you're being average. So as you pass, like a McDonald's sign, and you see that juicy McDonald's burger, it doesn't look like it does in that sign,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But everyone
When
knows that's a lie.
but
But
everybody
everyone
knows
will
it's a
still go
lie.
eat it.
So you are expected to know you're being lied to, and you're told that it's on you. So okay, everybody knows that's a lie. So if you go there and you're surprised that they lied to you, that's on you, right? So you're told constantly by advertising all around you um, lies, but you're expected to understand that they're
Would
lies and
wouldn't that?
to twist that to prune some truth out of
But that
those
sorry,
lies, right? Like
but that's isn't that common knowledge? Don't we know that models in magazines are edited? We know that they make the food look better even though it doesn't come out like that. Isn't that common knowledge? So in that case, wouldn't that be an A leaf? You're like, I know these are not real, but I'll take that for whatever, and I'll go to McDonald's anyway and enjoy this hamburger.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in a way it is. I think that's a good way to understand it. But at the same time, like if you want a society that totally values honesty, it might be
Yeah. Yeah, that's
incumbent upon them to not lie everywhere, right? And
yeah.
then
Well, yeah, it becomes super tricky because I guess a leaf, because the hamburger looks like garbage when you get it, but like in the picture it looks amazing. But if they took a picture of the real hamburger, would you still then go buy it?
I
And
mean,
it,
maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't, probably not, right? Yeah, or at least it would be less tempting.
yeah, yeah, good point. But it just makes it more tricky and weird.
Right, exactly. So, I think there was a time when the human race wasn't being constantly lied to by everything around us, right? Like there isn't an advertisement telling you if you don't go buy a new car now, you're crazy because the prices are so low. Like you better go get this, you better go do that. It's like all these things you are expected to know that stuff isn't true. And if you don't, it's sort of on you. But there was a time when people were more isolated and there was a lot less advertising and you weren't expected to be able to discern. People were expected to be honest with each other just as a matter of course rather than being expected to have a certain level of cynicism about the things that are being told. So if you want a more honest world,
I need a time machine. You know what I'm gonna do? If I ever get a time machine, I'm gonna keep going back in maybe 50-year increments and talk to the first person I see and go, "Tell me a lie." And the first person that says, "What?" That's the place I'm gonna like.
I
What's a
mean,
lie?
at the end of the day, I think it's better for all of us psychologically if when we tell the truth. I
Yes,
think if
I believe that.
you can be diplomatic about the truths you tell, though. You don't have to tell harsh truths
Yeah,
harshly all the time. Sometimes you might have to, but
yeah. It's your wording, right? Instead of saying you suck, you just say at this time you are not qualified.
no, no, no. Right, you're right. Well, yes, exactly. Or like, you do have to consider people's feelings, and
Yeah. No, but I
there's
think
no good reason to be like, oh,
yeah,
you're totally
exactly.
unqualified. These are the reasons. Get the fuck out of, like
Exactly,
speaking to people like
right?
that is just
And I think
yeah.
the more truth you get, the more you are more equipped to handle the truth, right?
Yeah, that's true. You're
So
right.
that's why I want people to always tell me the truth, and I always want to tell the truth because I don't know, I feel that makes everyone better
Fair enough.
instead of sugarcoating into hey, you're the best ever, even though you suck, right? Then someone has now a false sense of being awesome.
I mean, okay.
See, it that's more
It's
lies, more
well,
falseness.
I mean, but isn't awesomeness somehow in the eye of the beer holder? Like,
Yeah, that too.
isn't yeah, this stuff
Yeah,
gets
it's a very
complicated, right?
tricky thing. It's like yeah,
Um,
that's why I
but
try
but at the
to
end of the day, for the most part when you're telling a lie,
yeah
unless you're just wrong about something. So you can cut that out. Like if you're an individual who wants a more honest world, you can only do what you can do,
yeah
and what you can definitely do is just say things to people that aren't lies.
yeah. But some people are so stuck in some ways that they only want to hear you if you're telling the truth, right? So
So yeah, and sometimes you're just wrong, or sometimes you get scared, and
yeah, and that's part of lying, right? 'Cause that's one of the things why people lie. They want to get out of an awkward situation. They don't want to feel like
yeah,
garbage. They'll just lie and
like a lie seems like the lesser of two evils, right? If I
yeah
just tell a lie, then nobody has to yell at anybody, and we can
yeah.
all just
So
walk away.
yeah yeah. I said to you earlier this week we were talking this about previously. I said like lying is kind of a tool, and it's sometimes a tool that some people abuse, and they just I guess because sometimes I guess some people will argue that lying sometimes is fine because you don't want to hurt somebody or it's just whatever.
Everybody lies to somebody sometimes. Yeah, I think that maybe.
And some people are just compulsive liars.
Well, yeah, and obviously I think Sam Harris and there's a bunch of other people that do, ethical breakdowns of what it means to lie, like, or not lie. And in some situations, you're a moral monster if you don't lie. Like, for example, if you're hiding people upstairs in your house from a tyrannical government that's trying to find them, right? Find them and take them away to hurt them. And the government agent comes to the door and says, "Do you have those people here?" I think you're morally obligated to say, "No, I don't." Especially if you know that will make the man go away and will save the lives of the people upstairs, you know?
Yeah.
You are like 100 fucking percent morally obligated to lie, I think, in that situation.
Yeah.
And you can't say, "Well, I don't tell lies." Like, it's like, okay, eat shit. Like you should have.
You know, this just pops. Random stuff pops in my head all the time, but it reminds me of the. Have you heard the Nazi knock knock joke?
I don't want to hear it.
No, it's funny. Ready? Knock knock.
Who's there?
We will ask the questions. I was slapping you.
Yeah, we ask the questions. Okay, yeah. That's kind of fun.
I guess one more article here. I don't know if I didn't read this, but you sent it to me. Do you want to talk about it? It's the sexual deception of a social exchange. Did you read this?
Oh, pull it up. Let me see here.
Did you read it, and can you explain it to me? I think it was.
I read
it was a PDF.
Oh yes, I did read this. Okay.
Okay, so explain this one to me.
Yeah, go down.
Because it's a PDF. I didn't read it.
Okay. The use of deception in association with sexual environments may take a bunch of different forms, from outright lies to more evasive, subtle manipulations. So basically, it just categorizes like the different kinds of lies people will tell one another when it comes to engaging in a sexual relationship. You know what I mean? Like some of it comes down to telling the other person what you think they want to hear in order to have sex with them.
Yeah.
And like this, you know, how this overriding drive to procreate can sometimes overwhelm people's moral like reasoning. Like I don't want to say it like that because that
like, no, that makes sense.
But like people like to a degree, right? It erodes it. So it's like, wow, I was just trying to get laid or whatever, you know what I mean? Like okay, my car's not that big and maybe my apartment isn't really worth that much or whatever. But
just an example of a more specific example of like personal gain, lying for personal gain.
Lying for personal gain, yeah. But it's also, you know, there like yeah, like I think that because we're social creatures, we have to like the whole tribe needs to be able to lie to another tribe, you know what I mean? Like it's like if you are in a tribe of 12 people and there's another tribe of 12 people and you're afraid of them and you want to go attack them, you have to be able to lie to them as a collective. But if you can lie as a collective, you can also lie to each other. It's
very complicated.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's why I tried to be more specific.
Not qualified. I'm just
neither of us are qualified. We're just saying what we think and feel. We're just talking about
stuff we've seen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and experiences, right? So
for being millennials, you know, talking out our asses. Here we are.
Yes, everything with millennials.
Everything with millennials.
We could probably go for, like I've sat in like psychology classes and it just gets deep and crazy and weird, but that's what's awesome about it too.
Yeah, that's what's fun about it. That's right.
But at the end of the day, I still, because I don't know, I'm a person who's trying to look for answers in life, and sometimes you don't find any, but you can kind of experience stuff and get the most out of that, right? Just from the experiences alone, even though you don't get answers at the end of the day, but you kind of get a better working idea of how things do work, and
I think
you can set your morals that way.
Yeah, and I think that knowing that there's something called a B leaf and an A leaf, you know what I mean? Knowing that there are different cultures that thought of the world and thought of lies or ethics or whatever, thought about them in a way that kind of is intuitively makes sense to you, but you don't know anything about. When you find out about that stuff, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, the A leaf thing, I learned that today from you. I didn't know that, but that's and I learn a lot of stuff from you all the time. Just
I learned a lot of stuff from you too.
The A leaf thing, it's kind of a new way of thinking about lies and why.
And or just the sort of subtle layering of lies, right? Like how it can be,
and with that, I think that's the end of our show. We could go on forever, but
are you lying right now?
No, we cut it there, man. I think that was a good summation.
No, I want to go another 2 hours. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I think we did a good job talking about, you know, whatever we talked about, and
Yeah, I like these deep talks and stuff about this stuff.
yeah.
It's just very interesting to me.
All right, wicked. That's interesting to me too. I love it.
All right, cool. So, thank you everybody for tuning in this week. If you're looking for anything to the show, of course, show notes, type codes on all platforms. You can find everything at everythingwithmillennials.com. You got the audio, the video. You can get the merch shop. You wear a cool shirt like Mick's wearing right now. Yeah, following us, subscribing really helps on whatever platform you're listening to us. I'm Anthony Element, the Essential Element on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. We got Mick here.
My name is Mick Martin, and I hide in a little cubby hole at the bottom of a lake.
We'll see you next week. Peace out.